You ever love someone who was never really yours? Like, they never lied to you, never played you, never promised forever. They just existed in your life, in a way that felt way deeper than it was supposed to. That kind of love messes you up, because there's no villain in the story, no big blow-up, no dramatic ending, just you, falling quietly while they stayed comfortable. The start's harmless, a vibe, a laugh that sticks with you, conversations that go a little too late, texts you reread more than you'd ever admit. You tell yourself, relax, it's not that serious. But your heart doesn't care about logic. Your heart starts showing up early, staying longer, caring harder, and the wild part? They don't even notice. They call you their safe place, their favorite person to talk to, the one who always gets it, but never the one they choose. And you stay, not because you're weak, but because hope sounds real. When you're already in too deep, you convince yourself that love grows over time, that if you're patient enough, kind enough, present enough, they'll see you differently. But one-sided love doesn't work like that. It doesn't crash. It fades. Slowly, quietly. It shows up as waiting for texts that never come on time, as smiling through stories about people they're excited about, as putting your feelings on mute so you don't make things awkward. And nobody warns you how painful it is to love someone who feels like home but never plans to stay. This isn't a story about being played. It's about being overlooked, about giving your heart to someone who liked the warmth, not the responsibility. So if you're here listening, feeling that tightness in your chest, this story's for you. Because some love stories aren't about being chosen. They're about learning when to choose yourself. I didn't fall for you all at once. That's the part people never believe. It wasn't some movie moment. No sparks flying. No instant connection. Started small. So small I barely noticed it happening. A random laugh that stuck in my head way longer than it should have. A "you good?" text that hit harder than any love song. Late night conversations that felt easy. Like I didn't have to perform or pretend. You felt familiar, comfortable, safe. And that should have been my first warning. Because comfort turns into attachment real quick when you're not paying attention. I told myself it was nothing, just a vibe. Just two people killing time and talking too much. But vibes don't have you checking your phone every 5 minutes. Vibes don't make your mood depend on whether someone texts back. Somewhere between shared playlists, dumb inside jokes, and conversations that ran past midnight, my heart clocked in without asking me first. I started noticing the little things. The way you said my name. The way your voice softened when you were tired. The way talking to you made the rest of the day feel lighter. And I hated that it mattered so much. I told myself to chill, to not read into it, to keep my feelings on lock. But feelings don't listen. They show up quietly. They sit next to you. And before you realize it, they're unpacked and living rent-free in your chest. I didn't choose to fall for you. I just stayed too long, in a place that felt like home, before I knew it wasn't mine. Here's the part one don't love admitting. I was always there. Not sometimes. Not when it was convenient. Always. When your day went sideways, you hit me up. When you couldn't sleep, I stayed on the phone. When you needed someone to listen, I didn't rush you. I didn't check the time. I didn't half care. I showed up in ways nobody else did. And you trusted me because of that. You leaned on me. You let your guard down. But that closeness, it had limits. I was your comfort zone, not your choice. You'd say things like, I don't know what I'd do without you. And I'd smile, acting cool, like those words didn't sink straight into my chest. I became the person you ran to when everything else fell apart. The safe call, the late night voice, the emotional backup plan. And I let it happen because being close to you felt better than being honest with myself. I told myself love was patient, that if I stayed solid long enough, if I proved I wasn't going anywhere, you'd eventually see me differently. I didn't realize I was training you to lean on me without ever leaning toward me. I gave you my time, my energy, my feelings. No expectations, no pressure, just hoping. And hope is dangerous when it's one-sided, because while I was showing up like it mattered, you were comfortable knowing I'd always be there, no matter what. And that's when I became something worse than invisible. I became reliable. Looking back now, the signs were everywhere. Not hidden, not subtle. I just didn't want to see them. You'd talk about other people like it was nothing, like my heart wasn't sitting right there, pretending to be okay. You'd say things like, I just want someone who really understands me. And I'd nod, even though I was already doing exactly that. I told myself it didn't mean anything, that people talk, that I was overthinking, but deep down, I felt it. You'd disappear sometimes. No texts, no calls, just silence. And when you finally came back, you'd say you were busy, or tired, or just needed space. And I accepted it, every time, because I didn't want to be too much, didn't want to be that person who asks for clarity and ruins the vibe. So I made excuses for you, like it was my full-time job. They're just stressed. They'll reach out when they can. They care. They just don't show it the same way. Funny how love turns you into your own biggest liar. You showed up when it was convenient, when you needed comfort, when something went wrong in your life. But when things were good, when you were excited about someone else, I barely existed. I noticed how you never planned ahead with me. Everything was last minute. Everything was, we'll see. No real effort. No real intention. Just enough to keep me close. Never enough to make me feel chosen. And the worst part? I let it slide. Because hope is loud. And self-respect whispers. I ignored how I was always the one reaching out. Always checking in. Always making space. I ignored how my happiness started depending on your attention. That's when I should have walked away. But instead, I stayed. Because admitting the truth would have meant accepting that I was loving someone who only liked the way I loved them. There's always a moment, not a big explosion, not a dramatic fight, just a quiet second, where everything you've been avoiding finally catches up to you. For me, it happened randomly. You were talking, casual, almost excited. You mentioned someone new, their name, their laugh, the way they made you feel, and the way your voice changed. Yeah, that's what hurt the most. You sounded lighter, hopeful, alive. I realized then, you never talked about me like that. Not once. I sat there, listening, nodding like I was fine, while something in my chest slowly cracked open. That's when it hit me. I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't overthinking. I was just unchosen. And damn, that truth lands different when you finally stop lying to yourself. All those late nights, all that waiting, all the patience I called love, none of it was building toward anything. I wasn't in your future plans. I wasn't the person you imagined next to you. I was just there, reliable, comfortable, easy to lean on, but never the one you reached for when it really mattered. I replayed everything in my head after that. Every moment I brushed off. Every excuse I made for you. And suddenly, it all made sense. The disappearing acts. The mixed signals. The way you kept me close. But never close enough. I wasn't waiting for love to grow. I was waiting for someone who already knew they didn't want me that way. That realization doesn't scream. It sinks, sits heavy in your chest, and makes everything feel quieter. I didn't cry right away. I didn't get mad. I just felt tired. Tired of hoping. Tired of pretending. Tired of loving someone who saw me as an option when I saw them as everything. And that's the moment I knew, not out loud, not officially, but deep down, this was never going to be my love story. I never told you how I felt, not because I didn't want to, but because some truths already come with answers. I knew if I said it out loud, everything would change. And weirdly enough, I wasn't ready to lose you, so I stayed quiet. I loved you in ways you never noticed, in remembering the way you take your coffee, in checking if you made it home safe, in saving memes I thought you'd like, just to make you smile on a bad day. I became fluent in your moods, your silences, the space you needed when you pulled away, and I adjusted. I shrank my feelings so you could stay comfortable. I told myself this was enough, that being close was better than being honest. But loving someone in silence is exhausting. It's biting your tongue when they talk about someone else. It's smiling through jealousy you never asked to feel. It's rehearsing confessions you'll never actually say. I'd write messages and delete them, start conversations in my head that never made it past my chest. Every what if lived rent-free in my mind. Sometimes I wondered if you already knew, if maybe you felt it and just chose to ignore it. But that didn't matter, because love unspoken still hurts the same. I showed up for you on your worst days, even when I was falling apart. I listened to you complain about people who didn't care enough, while I was right there, caring too much. And the hardest part? You trusted me. You leaned on me. You felt safe with me. And I let myself believe that maybe safety could turn into love. But safety without desire is just comfort. And comfort doesn't choose you back. So I loved you quietly, not because I was brave, but because losing you completely felt scarier than losing myself slowly. Watching you move on was a different kind of pain. Not loud, not dramatic, just constant. You didn't disappear from my life. That would have been easier. You stayed, still texting, still calling, still leaning on me, like nothing had changed, except everything had. You started talking about someone else, without even realizing what it was doing to me. You'd say their name casually, like it didn't hit my chest every time. You'd talk about the way they made you laugh, the way they surprised you, the way things felt easy with them. And I'd sit there, pretending I was cool with it, smiling, nodding, acting supportive, because what was I supposed to say? You're breaking my heart? You never knew you had it in your hands. I watched you get excited, in ways you were never excited about me. Your energy changed. Your replies came faster, just not to me. You'd go quiet around me, but light up around them. And that's when it really hurt. Not because you chose someone else, but because I finally saw how clearly you could choose when you wanted to. I started noticing the little things, how I was always the last to know, how plans with me were flexible, but plans with them were locked in. I went from being your first call to your backup, and I hated myself for still answering. But here's the truth no one talks about. Watching someone move on when you never even had them hurts worse, because you can't grieve it properly. You can't say, "We broke up." You just feel stupid for hurting over something that was never officially yours. I don't blame you. You didn't know me, love. But damn, you also didn't notice how much I was losing myself, trying to stay close. I was standing still while you were already walking away. And the saddest part? I still hoped you'd turn around. People think breaking points are loud, like yelling, like slamming doors, like losing it completely. Mine wasn't like that. Mine was quiet. It came from a simple question that kept showing up in my head, no matter how hard I tried to ignore it. How long am I gonna keep hurting just to stay close? That question scared me, because for the first time, I didn't have an answer. I realized I was tired, not just physically, emotionally exhausted, tired of waiting for replies, tired of reading between lines that were never meant for me, tired of pretending I was okay with crumbs when I was starving for something real. I noticed how I kept shrinking myself, holding back what I wanted to say, swallowing my feelings, so things wouldn't get awkward. I was doing all this emotional work for someone who never asked me to, and that hurt. I asked myself when the last time was you checked on me without needing something, when the last time was you chose me first. The silence after those questions said everything, so I started pulling back. Not dramatically, no big speech, no "we need to talk" moment. I just stopped overgiving. I stopped replying right away, stopped being available at every hour, stopped showing up when I wasn't being met halfway. And that's when things got weird. You noticed. You asked if I was okay, if something was wrong, if I was acting different. That part messed with me, because you noticed my absence faster than you ever noticed my pain. And that's when it finally clicked. I wasn't valued for who I was. I was valued for what I gave. My attention, my time, my emotional support. Once that started disappearing, so did your comfort. That realization hurt more than anything else before it. But it also woke me up. I understood that staying was costing me myself. And no love, no matter how deep, is worth losing your sense of self. That was my breaking point. Not when I stopped loving you, but when I finally chose to stop breaking myself for someone who was never going to choose me back. Letting go isn't a switch you flip. It's not a moment where everything suddenly makes sense and you wake up feeling fine. It's a process, messy, uneven, quiet. Some days I felt okay. Not great, just okay. Like I could breathe without that weight sitting on my chest. Other days, I missed you so bad. Felt physical, like my body hadn't caught up to the decision my mind already made. I had to learn how to sit with that feeling without running back to what hurt me. I had to stop checking my phone just in case you reached out. Stop rereading old messages like they'd magically say something new. That was harder than I expected, because letting go wasn't just about you. It was about breaking habits, breaking patterns, breaking the version of myself that believed love meant endurance. I had to accept that missing you didn't mean I was making the wrong choice. It just meant I cared, and cared deeply. There were moments I almost reached out, typed the message, stared at it, deleted it, over and over. Not because I wanted to start over, but because I missed the comfort of feeling close to you And that's when I realized something important. Sometimes we don't miss the person. We miss the version of ourselves that felt seen, even if it wasn't fully real. So I started choosing differently. I chose silence when I wanted to explain, distance when I wanted reassurance, peace when I wanted familiarity. And slowly, very slowly, it got easier. The space didn't feel so loud anymore. My thoughts didn't revolve around you. My heart stopped waiting for what was never coming. Letting go didn't mean I stopped loving you. It meant I stopped hurting myself, just to stay connected. And that's when I knew I wasn't losing you. I was getting myself back. One-sided love teaches you lessons you never signed up for. Not the cute kind, not the motivational quote kind, the kind you only learn by living through the hurt. I learned that you can't love someone into loving you back. No amount of patience, understanding, or late-night support can change how someone feels. If they want you, you won't have to convince them. I learned that effort should never feel one-sided. That if you're always the one reaching out, checking in, holding things together, you're not building something, you're carrying it alone. And love isn't supposed to feel like work you're doing by yourself. I learned that being low maintenance isn't a flex when it means your needs are being ignored. That staying quiet to keep the peace slowly teaches people that your feelings don't matter. I learned that mixed signals are still signals, and they usually mean no. I also learned how easy it is to abandon yourself when you're scared of losing someone, how you start shrinking, how you settle for crumbs, how you convince yourself that almost love is enough. It's not. I learned that missing someone doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. It just means the connection was real, even if it wasn't mutual, and that truth matters. I learned that closure doesn't always come from a conversation. Sometimes it comes from clarity, from seeing things for what they were, not what you hoped they'd become. Most importantly, I learned that real love doesn't confuse you. It doesn't leave you guessing. It doesn't make you feel optional. It doesn't cost you your peace. Real love shows up. It chooses you without hesitation. And if you ever find yourself loving someone who can't meet you there, that's not a failure. That's a sign that your heart is capable of depth, of loyalty, of real connection. You just gave it to the wrong place, and next time, you'll know better, not because you're guarded, but because you finally learned what you deserve. I don't hate you. That's the part people expect. But it's not true. I don't replay our moments anymore, trying to rewrite the ending. I don't wonder what I could have done differently, because the truth is, I showed up the only way I knew how. I loved honestly. I stayed loyal, cared deeply, and there's nothing wrong with that. What was wrong was staying somewhere. My love wasn't meant to live. I used to think loving you was the most important thing I ever did. Now I realize something bigger. Learning when to walk away was because loving someone shouldn't mean losing yourself. You shouldn't feel like waiting in a room, hoping someone finally notices you're there. You were a chapter in my life, not the whole story. And chapters don't end because they were meaningless. They end because they taught you what the next part requires. You taught me my depth, my capacity to care, my ability to feel deeply. But the next love, that one won't need silence. It won't need patience that hurts. It won't need me to explain my worth. The next love will meet me where I stand. Choose me without hesitation. Stay without convincing. And if you're listening to this, thinking about someone who never chose you. Let me tell you something. I wish someone had told me sooner. You weren't asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong person. The right one won't make you feel confused. They won't make you feel optional. They won't make you question your value. They'll see you, choose you, and stay. This story isn't about heartbreak. It's about growth. It's about learning the difference between loving someone and abandoning yourself. And if this chapter is ending for you too, that doesn't mean you lost. It means you're finally making space for a love that won't require you to beg, wait, or disappear. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of choosing yourself. And that's always a love story worth telling. If this story hit a little too close, if it reminded you of someone you never really got to say goodbye to, take a second. Let me know in the comments what part stayed with you the most. You never know. Your words might help someone else feel a little less alone tonight. If the story pulled at your heartstrings, it really helps this channel reach people who need these stories too. And if you believe stories like this matter, stories about love, loss, and choosing yourself, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to the Love Strings for more stories that are real, honest, and meant to be felt, not just watched. We're just getting started. And if you're healing, growing, or learning to let go, you belong here, Red Heart.